Hey guys, welcome back to another Redstone tutorial. In this video, I'll be showing you how to build a fully customizable any size lava door for Bedrock and Java. It works in all dimensions and can even be used with water instead of lava. I'll show a tutorial for a basic 5x5 version, followed by instructions for changing the size, followed by examples in the Nether, and some troubleshooting tips. Here's the list of materials you will need to follow along with the tutorial. For solid blocks, you can use a stack plus 25 of whatever block you want, as long as it isn't flammable. You'll need lava buckets, some filler items for the hopper clock, some scaffolding, ladders, and an additional 14 of some other block. I'm going to use glass. For the redstone, we'll need everything you see here. If you make a door larger than 5x5, keep in mind that you may need additional comparators, redstone dust, dispensers, lava, and blocks. Start by digging out a line of 5 blocks. Dig that line down an additional 6 blocks. On the left, dig out by 2. This entire side, dig out by 3. This side will push back by 6 blocks. You should be left with the 7x10 area. Now we will raise the roof by another 4 blocks so that everything is 6 blocks high. Now we can place the first above ground layer. Place solid blocks on either side like this, and safety glass to contain the lava at first. Now scaffold up. And add 5 more blocks to either side. Now use a placeholder to come out either side like this and connect across. Now use another placeholder to place downwards, facing dispensers all along the top like so. We don't need this scaffolding anymore. Now we can come back down, find the center block and step back by 1 block towards the shallower side. Place blocks on either side, a torch on the right block, and a copper bulb above it. Now place another block on this side, 2 redstone dust. Place 6 blocks coming out and 6 comparators on top in a counterclockwise orientation. Now place 2 blocks up like this. 1 block down here, a torch, and dust. Place 2 blocks across from the torch like so, the leftmost one elevated, 2 redstone dust, and a redstone torch. Now dig out by 2 blocks in this corner. Turn right and dig an additional 6. Then dig straight up. Now come back to your redstone and place 2 more blocks and 2 more redstone dust. Now fill this tunnel in with blocks and redstone dust. Place 2 blocks at the end so that the last dust is powering this block. Then begin alternating redstone torches and blocks until you reach the surface. Coming back down, use a placeholder to place a sticky piston this way. Then attach an upward facing observer and place 2 bulbs with redstone dust on top of both. Then place a comparator where the placeholder was, and it should power just the far bulb. Now place a block by this observer with the comparator coming from the bulb that's on. If you're on Bedrock Edition, the next step will be a little bit different. You'll need to place a block by this comparator, then assemble your hopper clock like so. Next to the redstone block, place an upwards dropper and a hopper facing down, with an unstackable item inside. Then place 2 blocks, a comparator coming from the hopper, and redstone dust. If you're not on Bedrock, then place hoppers feeding into each other here and to the right. Now place a redstone block on top of the right one with some filler items inside. I started with a total of 8 items, but you might need to adjust this later. Now place a comparator running into redstone dust on each side. And on the left place a sticky piston, then place another on the right. Everything should look like this. Now just place 1 more block by this hopper. Place a repeater coming from the redstone block, a normal piston, and sand on top. Now place a block by the unlit bulb, a comparator, note block, and redstone dust. If you're on Bedrock, you need to use a redstone lamp instead of a note block. Now place a block diagonally up, with a redstone torch with a block above it, and blocks coming from either side of the torch, with redstone dust on top. We need to power this block here to reset everything, so place an observer coming out of this block, then build across. Place a dust on top of here, isolated using blocks, and a repeater running into this block, ticked once. Now place dust on the blocks between the observer and repeater, being careful not to place any on the observer. To activate the door, we need to power this block here. With that in mind, I'll go up and place buttons on either side, remembering where they are. You can activate the door however you want, and it is spam proof for the most part. Just make sure the pulse that you send is no longer than a button press, and that it powers the block I showed earlier. I'll mark where each button is below ground. Then connect them with a wire. The best place to do this is above the comparators. Just be extremely careful that your line doesn't touch any other redstone. And keep in mind that this block here needs to be powered. And again, make sure that it's separated from the other redstone. I'm going to take an observer from the redstone line connecting my buttons, leading into a repeater ticked once, and then connect that line down to that block with redstone. This is probably best if you want to be able to hook up different types of switches in the future, but otherwise you don't really need the observer. Now we can go back up and place sticky pistons along these blocks. And replace your floor that you broke earlier. Now continue your torch pillar up. And when you get to the top, make sure the final redstone torch is in the off state. If it isn't, you will have to either add or remove a torch, and then make sure the redstone line connects to the dispensers. Here's some examples with varying heights of redstone torches. Now back to the tutorial. I'll run redstone across the top here and fill each dispenser with a lava bucket. We shouldn't need this scaffolding anymore. If you chose the right amount of comparators, being one more than the height of your door, then the closing should be timed just right. The opening, however, takes different amounts of time. Here's two identical doors side by side, and you can see that one takes longer than the other. It's pretty much random depending on the size of your door and apparently the location. I can't really explain why, but at least it's consistent for each individual door. So to get the timing right, you'll have to try it out and either add or remove items from the hopper clock. Adding items makes the opening take longer, and subtracting items makes it shorter. You want the pistons to extend right when the lava becomes just a little sliver. Once you're done, it should look something like this. And now we can get rid of the safety blocks. If you know that you want your door to be taller than 5 blocks, I'll just show a quick guide on how to set up your comparators for that. All you need to do is take how tall your door is going to be and add 1. And that's how many comparators you'll need in your pulse extender. For example, if it's 5 blocks tall, you need 6 comparators. If it's 4 blocks tall, you need 5. If you have an odd number of comparators, it is the same layout as the next highest even amount of comparators, but replace one of them with a solid block in this position. To make a taller door, you will need to add more comparators to this pulse extender. To do that, first add a lever on this block here, powered on. This makes sure that nothing will get powered. Now cut off the line that goes to the dispensers. Break off all of these redstone lines right after the last comparators. Now we can figure out how many more comparators we need. In this case, I'll add 8 more for a total of 18, which would be for a 17 tall door. Now we can rebuild the redstone by adding 2 blocks here, 1 here, a torch, and dust. 2 more blocks with dust. 3 blocks like this. 2 dust and a torch. Now connect the trigger back to our on-off switch. and connect the reset switch back with the repeater ticked one time. Finally, reconnect the dispenser line. You might need a repeater if the line ends up getting pretty long. Now we can turn off this lever and everything should be working now. To make a shorter door, you will need to remove comparators from the pulse extender. Power this block here with a lever, then break your dispenser line. Next, break off all this redstone past the last comparator. Now figure out how many comparators you want and reduce all the lines down to that size. Now we can rebuild the redstone. Place 2 blocks, another block, a torch, dust, 2 blocks, 2 dust, 3 blocks, 2 dust, and a torch. Now reconnect your reset line with the repeater ticked once. Double check that no redstone's crossing. Reconnect the dropper line. Unpower the lever, and now it should be working again. If you want an odd number of comparators, first make sure that your door is closed. There should be lava. Now destroy the comparator coming from this bulb. The bulb was off before we changed anything. Quickly replace this comparator with a block. The bulb should turn back off. If not, you can just replace this redstone dust to get it in the off position. Once it is off, you can replace this comparator and you should be good. If you want to go from an odd number of comparators to an even number, follow the same steps. Make sure the door is closed. Destroy this comparator. Replace this block with a comparator, and make sure the bulb is off again. And replace the comparator you broke earlier. Here's how to make your door wider. You'll first want to break the dispenser line completely from the top down. Then you want to extend your walkway and all the solid blocks to your desired width. Make sure you still have blocks in place to catch the lava. Extend this sticky piston line to whatever width you chose. It's a tight squeeze, but there shouldn't be any issues if you plan to come out even further. Now rebuild the dispenser line and torch tower, making sure that the last torch is off. Add dispensers with lava in them. And connect them all to the torch tower. Now you just need to adjust the timings. Here the piston extended early, so I'll add a few more items to the hopper clock. I don't have a full tutorial for the Nether, but I have some examples to help guide you in the right direction. This one is 5 blocks tall using 2 comparators. This one is 7 blocks tall using 3 comparators. This one is 10 blocks tall using 4 comparators. This one is 13 blocks tall and uses 5 comparators. This one is 15 blocks tall using 6 comparators. And this one is 21 blocks tall using 8 comparators. Some people like to know how the redstone works, so I'll give a brief rundown. This purple line is the activation switch. It needs a pulse to activate this torch here. This triggers an RS NOR latch. An RS NOR latch basically works like a seesaw. The blue button here is ready to be pressed. Once I press it, it can't do anything else until this red button is pressed. Basically, they have to take turns. So here when we activate the door, we activate the blue side. Once we do that, this torch turns off, and the comparator pulse extender is allowed to fade out slowly. Once it's done, it toggles this bulb, which basically decides whether or not to add even more time. If the door is closing, it will be a lot quicker, so we only delay the pistons as long as the comparators take to burn. And once it's done, the RS NOR latch gets reset. When we try to open the door, the comparators burn out again. Except this bulb causes the piston to activate this other bulb, which starts the hopper clock. Once the hopper clock moves twice, then we toggle both of these bulbs, which locks the hopper clock and fires the pistons. So the comparator burnout is present whether we are opening or closing the door, and the hopper clock is added only when the door is trying to open, and we can adjust it very easily. Since the closing is consistently much quicker, we can always determine how many comparators to use by taking the height of the door plus 1. I realized that building this door is really intense and probably easy to mess up, so I'll try to run through some common issues and how to fix them. If your door looks like this, which usually happens when you activate it exactly when it tries to reset, what's happening is the door thinks that it's supposed to be open right now. All you need to do to fix it is reset it by activating this green line. Then flip this bulb here with a button. So when this bulb gets switched, we want the piston to extend and send a signal to the far bulb, which unlocks the hopper clock. When the door is open, the next button press should be a shorter delay. So we want the piston to activate this closer bulb. Generally, I don't recommend messing with these two bulbs directly, but instead mess with this bulb. Both of these bulbs should be on when the door is closed. And only the far one should be on when the door is open. You should only mess with these bulbs if that is not true for your door. Anyways, thanks for watching. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and consider sharing this video with your friends. See ya!